There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill, very much. Good evening and welcome to the first Finance Committee of 2021. I wish everyone a safe and happy and peaceful New Year. Janet, can you please do the roll call?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Supervisor Syed?
I'm here.
Councilwoman McGraw?
Here.
Councilman Delarada? Councilman McPartlin? I saw you.
Here.
Councilwoman Jacob? I saw you
Here.
check in. Controller Paul Briggs?
Here.
I also see Lori Peretti, Bill Lawrence, Matt Yetto, Eric Amberger, Michelle Martinelli, Stan Faminsky, Diane Percy. Did I miss anyone? I see John Delarada just checked
Yep.
in. Did I miss anybody? John, I got you. I saw you check in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we're all
Thank
set.
you. Thank you, Janet. May I please have the motion to accept minutes from December 8th, 2020, last year's Finance Committee meeting?
Motion to accept the minutes.
I'll
Thank
second.
you. Thank you. So,
I'm sorry, is it seconded?
Yes, I seconded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, everybody. Before we go for on the items, I just wanted to provide a little bit of update in regards to the early retirement incentive that we had started. This week is the last week for everyone to let us know if they are going to retire or not, and the date that they have to be. Retirement date is 3/31/2021. So as of today, actually, we received about 7 notices. So that's about more than 22% of the list that we started with. So congrats to those people who have made the decision and wish them best luck. Again, I think that there might be a couple more that we have not heard about. We just heard the inkling that they are going to be sending their notices. Health insurance consultant, we have been talking about that to get some more savings for 2021. That's the new initiative we have started. We got 2 responses and we have the interviews with them next week. And hopefully in 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be able to tell you what the potential savings would be. Going over that, so that was my little update. I'm going to ask Janet to discuss the budgetary modifications for this Finance Committee meeting.
Thank you, Isma.
Thank you.
Has everybody had a chance to review these? Pretty cut and dry. I'm not going to take a lot of time to go over it. I know we have a lot to cover tonight. The Trinity Health donation for the exercise class, obviously that money's come in. We held it so that they could use it in 2021 because it came in at the last minute at the end of 2020. Matt has requested some movement for disposal fees in the transfer station. The big item is going to be, well, skip down to the city sewer bill. Matt and I did these budget modifications together. We looked at the lines and what he had left to get this payment to the city that he anticipated we were going to need. Matt, I do just still need the signed paperwork from you, and Kathy can get it over to me. And then the labor attorney's fees, I'm going to jump back up to that. I've enclosed all the bills that I've gotten year to date. I did send one last minute. I hope everyone got it. I added an additional $450 to that budget mod request because I received a late bill from Nixon and Peabody for $450. Again, I have no idea these are the final bills, so they just keep rolling in.
So Janet, that is the final bill from Nixon Peabody, and I have an email out to you approving that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Did you approve all of them, Paul, the Gervin and Ferlazzo's, as well as the,
I did, excuse me, I did.
okay, thank you. I'll get on those and probably I can get them processed this week, hopefully. Does anybody have any questions about the budget modifications?
No, thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. The next item is a discussion regarding the 2021 boarding schedule. As you know that during the 2021 process, all the department heads gave us their equipment request. Have everybody received that? It was modified a few times because due to our budget workshops, and we managed to reduce it down. In regards to that, I just wanted to give you an update that in February, our bands would be about 4.2 million. So they will be maturing. And the recommendation, my recommendation would be, is to take advantage of the really low bond interest rates. So we should reband them and achieve some savings of maybe we can reduce our interest rate by another half of the cost that we are paying right now. So going from 1.34% maybe to 70, 80 basis points. So we will go over the capital projects and equipment list. There are 3 columns. The one on the left side is the final one that the department heads, that was the final request that they made. The total is about $1.6 million, $1,558,254. So that will bring our bans to that we will have to issue in 2021. This year will be about $5.5 million. At 70 basis points, we are looking an interest rate of about maybe like 38,000 on that. So it's just a discussion at this point.
So prior to you coming here, I had conversations with Paul Sebesta, our former controller, about, bonding levels and how much, really should a town of our size with our, tax base be bonding. And I never really got an answer other than him sort of saying, yeah, we're doing fine. We're not at our maximum, but we're getting close, that sort of thing. So I don't know if you've ever looked into that or have a sense of where we are with those kind of things.
For the town specifically, I have not looked at that, but I have to look into that after this finance. Afterward, we decide what we are going to ban or bond for this year. It's a little bit hefty for the town of our size, but again, it depends upon when the town had surplus of fund balance, we were using a lot of that to purchase the equipment, less than 5 years old. That made sense. That's basically made fiscal sense. But now because of COVID, we are looking at fiscal distress. So for 2020 and especially for 2021, I think we need to look at that and see what for 1 year the town wants to do. So that's what the question is.
Okay, so I guess what you're sort of saying is this is something that we're going to be putting out to department heads to say what is your absolute necessary, what is your absolute need that you cannot live without, or this piece of equipment or this particular project, it has to be done. If we don't do it this year, it's going to cost us double next year, or it's going to, if we don't replace this vehicle or whatever this year, we're going to put $10,000 more into it that we really don't need to, those kind of questions. Yes?
Absolutely. That's what my recommendation is.
Okay.
Okay. So in February, I will bring this back to you, or maybe I'll send you my initial suggestions about that after talking to the department heads. Thank you. The next one is a resolution establishing the standard workday for the elected and appointed officials, and I'm going to ask Janet to discuss that, please.
So this is that resolution that we do on a regular basis when any elected or appointed official feels that their hours that they're serving have changed. They can submit a 3-month record of activities calendar, and we reflect that in the resolution, the standard workday reporting resolution that goes to the state, and we change their retirement reporting. I believe this is going to change because I think I pulled the old file, and this is the number for Kevin Walsh reflects his monthly hours and not his quarterly hours. If anybody has any changes, if anybody's kept the calendar and feels their hours have changed, it would be great if you could get it to me for the end of January. However, I will be sending out notices for a couple of planning people, and I will include everybody in on that. If you wanted to do January and February, they are due to re-up, but you all can feel free to submit calendars at any time. Hopefully I can get that email out tomorrow with the calendars.
Yeah, Janet, I think I'd actually asked Ismat about this because I went through and did this for the very first time last year. I kept track of daily activities for 3 months. So you're saying that what's on here, at least with respect to me and probably with respect to everybody, is sort of that going through once, and if there's changes, we would record them. So I don't have to do that again this year, in other words, unless I feel like my level of activity has changed.
Correct. You need to, as a town board member, you're going to need to recertify. It's either 4 or 6 years, and I have a calendar set up. But if you feel that you're working more than what you initially did on those 3 months when you initially came on board, you could do any 3 consecutive months at any time, and we just need to do a new resolution. Okay. I would like to try to keep them quarterly. It's because it is a lot of a change every time this resolution occurs. Michelle has to do a posting. We have to do a certification. It has to go to the state. And more importantly, Marco has to do adjustments through the retirement reporting system and payroll. But anytime anybody feels, I know a lot of you guys are putting in a lot more hours than you did, please get those calendars together. I just got one from a council member. I got 4 months. I took the 3 highest consecutive months and threw it on here. So that's what you need to do.
Okay. Thanks, Janet. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Paul, you are next to talk about the nepotism policy. Paul?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
We've proposed a nepotism policy. It's a format that Alexis and I have worked on for a while. It's prepared. We're going to be circulated it to the town board before the end of the week. It's pretty straightforward. I've reviewed other municipalities' policies, and this is a blend of those. And I think it's going to work well for the town to be included as part of our employee handbook.
Okay.
Paul, I'm obviously will look forward to reviewing that again. Do you know if it will include some sort of like disclosure form so that people can identify relationships, existing relationships? If not, I would maybe recommend that.
It does have a disclosure form.
Okay, great. And then I assume that there'll be an opportunity to review and discuss it further. Obviously, we're all curious as to how it will affect, any current employment situations, in addition to those moving forward.
Whenever the town board wants to take action on it.
Okay.
Not ready for this meeting at the end of the month, we can move it to the next month.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, and normally we would talk about it here. When would be the next opportunity to discuss it? So, all right, we'll just see what it looks like and see what folks want to do in terms of discussion. Thank you.
So just for clarity, Paul, that's going to be effective. It's not going to be effective for the previous employees, right? It's going to be effective of a certain date.
It'll be effective on the night it's passed by the town board.
Perfect. Okay, just wanted to understand that. Thank you very much. The next one is a resolution establishing a town compliance committee. We have talked about it last year extensively. Now that we have the HR consultant to help us with our complaint resolution process, now the last step is to create a compliance committee comprised of the supervisor, HR manager, Janet, and one rotating member of the board on a rotating basis, on a quarterly basis. So I would ask the town board to decide how would they want the members to be on that committee. This committee will be on a monthly basis with the HR consultant to He's going to give them an update if there were any incidents of non-violation of any of our policy. And then this committee will determine if it needs further investigation. Oh, and remember, this is only for the non-union employees, for the non-rep, non-union employees. So first they have to exhaust all the internal mechanisms, all the internal protocol for complaint resolution, and then they will use this 24/7 anonymous hotline and email line. On a quarterly basis, this consultant is going to provide an update to the whole board in regards to what the compliance issues were, what the resolutions were, what the investigations and the resolutions have proven to be. So at this point, and also he's going to provide training 3 times this year, get ready board, training to the board. So we have to figure out, you have to decide whether it's going to be an additional meeting. That's going to be an hour each night for, 3 times a year, and separately to the management and separately to the new supervisors, so, and to the whole employees. And he's also helping us update our employee handbook and the policies.
Is that is an interactive training, or is it just something to watch?
No. It's going to be very interactive. Yes, believe me. Yeah.
Good.
He'll make sure everybody's engaged.
Okay, great.
And learning. So what's the process of forming a new committee and deciding who is going to be the board member? How do you guys want to do that?
So if you're
We'll
proposing-
just do it by seniority, Ismet.
yeah, and
Okay.
you said quarterly. We'll switch
Yeah.
over so everybody.
Yeah, so
that,
we'll just do it, me, then John, then Bill, then Rosemary. So
that sounds
that
fair.
will give Rosemary more time to get up to speed with so many things at the town. So, okay,
sounds
how's that?
wonderful.
Great.
Thank you. So get ready, and then for the training sessions, which are going to be very valuable, you want separate meetings, right? Besides the town board meetings. Is it right?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, we know that the town board meetings are a lot of work for the staff. And if we were going to do it after a town board meeting, sometimes it's 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night now. So,
Absolutely. Yes. The staff is not going to be in that. It's just the town board.
right. But the consultant would
Yeah.
be, right? So
Oh,
they
yeah.
gotta-
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Got it. The last resolution is that a resolution authorizing the hiring a bond counsel for the 2021 bonding. And I hope I don't butcher this company's name, but it is from New York, Oric, Harrington, and Sutcliffe, that the town has engaged the services before. 'Cause
Yeah,
we have
we've
to
had
do-
them. Yep.
Okay, so is it okay that if we just have an agreement with them? I'm comfortable with that. I've seen their work. They are very, very good in what they do.
I'm fine with them, and we've used them before, and I think their rate is good.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
On
personal.
my end, they're really easy to deal with and they're very, very accommodating.
And
Yeah, for me too.
I was going to say professional services, a bid is not required anyway.
Right. Thank you. And in regard to the bonding, I'm going to suggest is that we do the rebanning through fiscal advisors. They are, I believe the town has worked with them. We have issued a lot of notes through them. So they can do, actually when they reban it, they can do a bigger note in the sense that they will send it to more companies, more organizations for the note sale. So I need a resolution for that too? I'm sorry, yes?
If we're already contracted out with them for a certain period of time, then we won't. But if we have to renew the contract, and if it's above a certain dollar threshold, then we will. Do you happen to know? Well, we can talk offline.
We can talk offline, Ria,
We can
because
talk.
that depends upon how much capital budgeting we are going to be doing and bonding it this year. That all depends upon that because they have different levels. So let's talk about it offline and then we will come back in February. Okay. The next one is Highway, Parks and Recreation Committee. A resolution amending yard wasting fees. Laura? Who is talking? You want me to go over that? Okay. So that was part of the 2021 budget. We have recommended increasing the yard waste fee by $10. And that was part of the budget process. So I think that this is just a resolution amending that. Again, from the Highway, Parks and Rec Committee, a resolution hiring seasonal employees in the town's community programs department. Okay, from Economic Development, Historic Preservation, a resolution calling for a public hearing on a local law for vacant home registration. Laura, you want to talk about it?
Aren't these for agenda?
Yeah, they are.
I think you're looking at the agenda and not the finance agenda.
Got it. Okay, thank God.
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
you covered yours, I believe, right?
The only thing we missed, public safety
In Public Works.
and public work. So the chief requesting a bid process for the 2 patrol cars for 2021, and that would also require bidding for the upfitting for the 2 vehicles. So there's 2 resolutions on the agenda for that. And then from Public Works, Matt has a plant trainee at the wastewater treatment plant that is completing his probationary period. And he's asking for permanent appointment of that employee.
Hey, Janet, I had one question about that.
Yeah.
That's a tested position, and I think he's still provisional because I don't believe they had the test because of the COVID.
What's his title? Oh, the plant trainee. They sent me a probationary period form for him.
Okay.
I'll look it up. I'll double check with in the civil service.
Yeah, I just thought of that just now. I apologize.
That's all right. I'll log in tomorrow and see.
Thank you.
It may be from his old position.
We just hired him directly as a trainee.
You did? Okay. Yeah. No, they sent me a civil service probationary period appointment form for him. Matt indicated that the discussion of the lot line adjustment was actually going to go to the Economic Development Committee next time around, so we're not going to talk about that tonight. And lastly, Matt brought to my attention late last week, I think, an employee whose anniversary date was December 18th got his vacation on December 18th, and he didn't realize that it was the vacation that he had on the books, the 40 hours prior, was going to expire on December 31st, that he was going to be over, that he can only carry 40 hours of vacation from one year to the next. Matt, jump in here. He was hoping that because the employee was a new employee and unaware, the union had reached out and asked if the board would consider giving him, a brief.
We've done that in the past, Janet.
Yes. Yeah, by resolution.
We've done it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they can't help it. There's no negligence on
Exactly.
their part. There's no negligence on our part. We've done this. There have been plenty of other times before. People we put out in the December meeting, and then a year later, we were getting hit with that. So, yeah.
Okay. So I'll supply that information to Elena for the resolution then.
Thank you. And then, Matt, did you have just one other thing? I know we had some conversations about the some employees with a rate adjustment.
Yeah, there was a question that came up when we brought the people that were below minimum wage up to minimum wage. It affected one of the attendees or attendants at the transfer station, and we had a built-in differential between the one attendant and then the senior attendant down there. And by raising the one employee's pay hourly rate, it took away that a large part of that differential. So the purpose of that differential was to account for the additional responsibilities that the senior attendant had. He does more of the paperwork and keeps
So
track
we've
of
gotten that
the
taken care of with the committee, Matt.
Okay.
So we're all set.
We did, yes. Thank you. Yes, we did talk
Yeah,
about that.
at the end of your committee meeting, we got that taken
Yeah.
care of. I know you had texted me during the other meeting, so I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that it was taken care of.
Thank you.
And I emailed and making sure that, everything is all set. So,
Oh,
no worries
great.
about it.
Thank you, Ismet. Thank you.
Yes.
So do we need a resolution for that or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No,
To
I
change
know.
the salary? Yes.
Is it an actual change or was it a change that should have been on the salary schedule?
No, it's an actual change.
Okay.
Because the only people that we changed on the salary schedule were those that were not making minimum wage, and this gentleman is making more than minimum wage.
Okay.
So we would need that resolution for civil service.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can I ask, what's the board's consensus on letting, on the time frame for the carryover of the vacation time? How long do you want to put on the resolution?
Oh, that's a good question. What have we done in the past? Have we done 6 months, I feel like, Janet?
I can't remember, I can let you all know. I remember the most recent one that I recall was Tim Nagel.
Yeah, right,
I
exactly.
don't remember how long that was. Matt, do you remember how long we gave him?
No, I don't remember. I don't think it was more than 6 months. It was less than
I don't
that.
think so. 6 months
Yeah.
sticks in my head, Janet. I know it. I don't think it was a year.
I can go back to the resolutions and double
Thank
check
you,
and
Elena.
report.
Thank you.
I was thinking more like 3 months, but.
Can I ask a question? Don't we have a policy regarding that? Like we don't have a policy, what is the changeover? Because we have been talking about the policies updating the employee handbook. So do we decide every year? I think that, Paul, I've talked to you about updating the policy, the employee handbook, and updating a lot of the policies. So I think that should be part of that. Do I have a consensus on coming up with the suggestions to the board with that?
I think the idea behind it is that we don't want to encourage people,
Thank you.
right, who don't use theirs.
Yes.
So this
Right.
is such a rare, infrequent occurrence that we really hadn't had a
Right.
policy about it. And then ask, then people could ask to be in the policy or the policy apply to them.
Exactly. And to your point, Denise, exactly, I'm on the same page. It's just that our employee handbook and some of the policies are either don't say anything about issues or they are vague about it.
Mhm.
So while we are updating it, we just want to make sure that, it's somewhere documented.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other things from the floor? Sorry, it seemed like I'm missing part of the agenda. My apologies.
I have a question about,
Yes? Did I hear
I don't know
something?
if this is the time to bring it up, but Ismet, we talked about, did you just get my email? Can you guys hear me? Oh.
Parts of it. You're breaking up.
How about if I type it in?
We're going to wrap up.
Yeah, it's already 6:31. Can we talk offline after this? I guess that's a yes.
Email that I sent Janet,
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. So
She's
with this,
asking- I'm sorry, she's asking about the CO fees from $50 to $75. Was that worked into the budget? And if so, it needs to be put on a resolution. She thinks it falls under the building department. Is that the correct email, Michelle?
We talked
Yeah,
about
but-
the CO fees somewhere,
We-
some meeting we've had, right?
Yeah, and I
it's
think she just thinks it needs to go on resolution.
okay. It's not part of the budget process, but that's part of the suggestions from Michelle's area for meeting the 4% budget challenge. So yes, it should be. Thank you. Okay, our next meeting is on February 9th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
You have a second?
I will second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. I'm doing it.
Aye.
Thanks. Do we stay on this or?
That will log into the next meeting.